Greetings and welcome to another episode of Deep Light Studios, Duane's Astrophotography. Your host here, Duane Melvin. I'm here in Texas at Marathon, Texas at SQM 21.43 as I measured. I drove 30 hours from Ohio to arrive here and been here several times. That's at the RV park, the Sky Park, Dark Sky Park, Marathon RV Dark Sky Park, I think it's called. I apologize if I got that wrong. It's the little town of Marathon, Texas. It's a cool place to visit. I have taken some fairly good pictures, I feel, of 3i Atlas. And if you look right there, you see 3i Atlas. Let's zoom in a little. It's elongated here, but the elongation is because I took 600 seconds. Now, I did some calculations and found that 22 seconds is the optimum for the velocity of this comet for an exposure, 22 seconds. So in other words, a 22-second exposure will give you a dot right there. But the trouble is with that is it's so dim. You don't see any much coma. And so I thought I would go ahead and stack this because when you bring it out like this, it looks pretty good in a picture. It's fairly wide field. It's a 714 millimeter telescope. Let me go through the equipment list very quickly. I have the EQ6R Pro mount, the Explorer Scientific triplet telescope. That is a 714 millimeters focal length, and a 102 ED glass aperture. And then I have the ASI 2600 Pro monochrome camera, cooled. And I'm using ASI Air Plus for my control, and an Alienware i7 laptop, 8K screen for my capture for my control using BlueStacks app player. Okay, so that's about it for that. I found out something interesting here. I needed no dew heaters at all. It's just so dry here, and I don't know if it's probably the dew point was okay, but through the whole night right up until 6:11, which I took my last of my 103 subs at 22 seconds. And then I took 103 subs again at 45 seconds. And that video you can see on YouTube if you look for it. I just put it up yesterday. I'm very pleased with it. And to be able to grab 3i Atlas with 0.39 arc second, magnitude arc second rather, guiding, RMS guiding. I had really good stars. You can see the stars here are pretty darn good, even out to the edges. Not so bad, a little bit of distortion going on here, but the guiding was fairly good for this. So let's get started with the processing. This is going to be so simple. And before I'm done here, I want to open up and blink you that long segment. I'll blink it for you right on the video here. It's not going to look as good, but it'll at least it'll give you the idea. So let's go ahead and go into this. I'm going to do my standard processes here. We see there is a little noise in the background, although with this low Bortle number, we have very low noise. I'm going to go ahead and run a noise exterminator on both these, and I'm not going to do a batch container because it's only 2. So let's go for all processes, a noise exterminator. We'll just run it on these. So Big Bend Park is very close by, and there's a spot there. I'm gonna head over there in my car because they don't allow campers in it in this area, but it's about 80 more miles south of here, and it is absolutely a 22.00 SQM. It's Bortle 1 there. So I've come this far, 30 hours driving. I'm surely going to at least take some pictures of something like the Witch Head Nebula, or something like that, Witch's Head Nebula in that really low Bortle number. All right, what are we doing here? Let's see what's going on. We should have the noise exterminator. We got 85%. Got a little flashing lights here because it is rather windy, so I apologize for that. Maybe I can reduce that a little bit here. Something like that maybe. Looks like it actually made it worse. Sorry about that. Let's just head down here like this. I know how I'll fix it. Give me just a second. Bear with me. Trying to get this light in the background to keep from bouncing. And it looks like it is bouncing here, and I'm not sure why. Sorry about that. I'm very attuned to this. Looks like it's probably this over here. May have to cut this out, but the videographer here in me wants to get that light flashing to stop. It's kind of bugging me because I'm not sure how that's happening or why. Oh, I know what it is. It's the it's the Mylar bag on my telescope reflecting in the sun. So let me close this shade over here. All right, that's a sign of a true astrophotographer there, going from astrophotographer to videographer, not having the lighting quite right here. Okay, I think we're good there with that. Let's look at this now. It looks like we've removed quite a bit of the noise. Let's do that to the same second sub. I'm only going to use 2 subs. I only took 2 subs at 600. I almost didn't take the 600. I thought, yeah, it's going to be streaked, you know. But I'm glad I did now, because even with the streak there, it still looks nice, you know, as far as an artistic presentation, which is all this is. This is not very scientific, although I did learn a few things. It's interesting that in my video, this thing goes across the sky about this far in about I believe about 2 hours time, something like that. You'll see it here in a minute. It's going 163,800 miles across the screen in 9 seconds of my video. So it's pretty interesting at 45 seconds per sub. All right, so let's see what we have here. Looks like we're done with that. We got pretty good. I see a little bit of a gradient there, and I'm a stickler for this kind of stuff, like right in here. And let's see if we can affect that at all. It looks like maybe a little bit of vignetting on just this side. You can see it around the edges here. This is an APS-C sensor, and this is a fairly small. This is one of those dual-purpose quote-unquote scopes where it's made for visual. Really, is what for the visual folks is what this telescope has been around for a long time. The Explore Scientific 102 ED. So I think that's what it is. In other words, the focuser is very small in diameter. And so you can see the effects of that, a little bit of vignetting on the edges, especially over here. Let's see if we can eliminate that here. Let's do a process, and let's go for gradient correction. I think this is the one I use mostly, and it works pretty well. Let's see what we get here. There we go. It's almost like magic. You turn here. Let's look and see this. Undo. Look right over in here, and you'll see when I do this. Undo it. Check that out, and I'll do it back again. Redo. Quite nice. All right, let's do the other one. Watch right over in here now. Bink. Okay, we are done with that. That looks beautiful. We've got noise exterminator on both. Let's check it one more time to make sure. Yep, our stars look really good here, and I don't want to mess around with this, but Russell Croman has developed this RC AI tools that he has programmed so amazingly, and I found that if you do a process here and you do blur exterminator and you use the correct only right there, just leave these alone. They're not even in play. And this correct only does just what it says. It only corrects the things that need to be corrected. So let's just run it here and see what it does to our stars. See if it's worth it, and make sure it doesn't do anything to the comet or whatever it is. Huh? Right? There's so many AI generated things out there on AI Atlas. If you look on YouTube, it's just quite remarkable. And for sure, I am not AI generated, all right? So let's go over here and see what we got. We're done here. Let's come in here. Let's just see if this made any difference on the stars. Let's go to image and undo. Yeah, I can see it did a small amount of difference. Look right in here at these stars right here. Redo. See that? It did make them a slight bit rounder, so let's go for it. Process, all processes, and blur exterminator. I should have done a process, so I wouldn't have to do all this twice. Okay. I think we're pretty good here. Looks like we're finished with that. Let's go ahead and check it out here. Looks pretty good. All right, let's see if it did anything bad to the comet, if we call it a comet. So yeah, we got quite a bit of glow out here. It's all right. It's still a very cool looking thing. So let's now combine these. What I want to do though, I want to go into because I'm pretty anal about this stuff. I'm going to save these first, and let's get rid of this ridiculously long name. Let's call it 3i Atlas. And what I want to do is save these. Let's just call it A and B. And this is really not going to work well for us, as I see right now. Let's see what we can do with it. I wanted to combine these two together. The reason I am realizing this is these are FITS files, and so I cannot open those up in Photoshop. So I can't do my normal routine of all the Photoshop tools. I would have to convert these to TIFF files, which is not that hard to do, actually. And I'm going to show you how easy that is, actually. Let's do this. Let's save this now. We saved it already. Let's save it save the other one. File, save as. And we're going to save these as the shorter number so I don't ruin my original data. And I've already backed that up twice in 2 places. All right, so let's go with the 3i Atlas. And let's call it B. Okay, now why did I do this? Well, 16 bits. I think we'll be okay with 16 bits. Maybe not. Let's do 32 bits. I haven't stretched these or anything yet. Let's go with 32 bits because I don't want to mess anything up. And we'll do another one of the other one also. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take these into Deep Sky Stacker, and I'm not actually going to do anything except I'm just going to stack them and see what happens. I think it's going to work. The comet won't be, and then when it stacks them, you can change it into a TIFF file. In other words, it does that automatically when you do the stacking in there, and you have one picture. Let's just see what happens. All right, we go to here now. This is the first one, B. Let's go to A. Save as. And we're going to go save it as, I'm not sure if I can save it this way right here. Oh, I can. All right, let's see what we can do here. But what I want to do is save it as a 32-bit. See if we can save this as a TIFF file and then work on it and then I won't have to do any stacking or anything. I'll do that back when I return it here. Let's try 32 bits. I don't know if this is going to degrade the image. It might. Okay. this is a fit file now. I'm not sure what's going on here. Let's try file open. See if we can open these two files now. These are those two, but I don't see the TIFF files that I just made, which is kind of strange. Okay, there they are right there. There's one TIFF file. Let's just try a TIFF file, open it, see what it looks like. Let's do a stretch on it here. See, we're seeing some degradation, quite a bit of degradation in it, where it's really kind of like went off into left field here, it looks like. We might still be able to get that out of it, get some things out of it. The comet certainly is brighter. Let's go ahead and just go ahead and keep going here. A and B, let's do the same thing with B. File, save as. Again, this is going to be more of an artistic, not a scientific picture. We're going to be altering a little bit, but it'll look pretty cool. Alright, so let's go up here to, this is B, and let's go ahead and change this to a TIFF file right here. Say save, and then let's go up to save this. I'm going to save it as 32 bits. Okay. Alright, let's see if we can file open. And see if we can open this TIFF file, the second TIFF file B right there. La-di-da, we'll go, go, go. Alright. It's working. Now let's get rid of these things just as a confusion removal idea here. Put them down there. Alright, what we're going to do here is we've already used the blur exterminator and the noise exterminator. Okay, we don't need that. So let's just take a look at what we've got. Let's see how aligned these are. Remember, they have not been registered at all. So I had a pretty good guiding. My guiding was 0.39 magnitude arc seconds. So I would think that this should be right on top of one another. Looks like they are, but just to make sure, I'm going to go ahead and register them. Process all processes, and we're going to register them in this manner. Star alignment. Let's just pick one of these as the reference image. It doesn't matter. Let's just use B, and then we'll go over here and iconize this down. That little guy right there is the iconizing. And let's go with B and A down here. And this will align this picture to that picture. Okay, so all the stars will be registered. And it'll look really nice here. Let's go ahead and hit that. Okay. 83%. Looks like we're done with that one. It'll bring up both of them. Actually, just one. It'll say new right there, and then we'll have to use the original, which is the one we used up here. The Atlas B is the one we're going to use. So let's just put these down. Let's put these way over here someplace too, just to kind of get them out of the way completely. Okay, what is going on there? I guess it doesn't like to do that for some reason. Not understanding that. Okay, it's because my video was in the way, I guess. All right, here's B and A. We're done with this. Here's our registered. Now let's go up here. Let's stretch this back out, and we're just stretching it in a pre-stretched way. It's not really stretched. We'll at least be able to see something besides a black screen. All right, now let's look at the registration. Now, that is just right on it. Look at these. Look at this area right in here, and those 3 stars around the top as I swing that in place. You see that? See how they're just falling right on line when this is lined up on the edge here. That's what we're looking at, okay? Now, the interesting thing here is I'm seeing, what I have seen before in some of these pictures, and I'm not sure if it's fake, okay? But I am seeing a strange looking tail, perhaps, coming out that way. You see that? This is all conjecture. See it coming out there? Could be the stacking, could be an artifact, but I don't know. It's data. All right, this is data, so we're seeing some pretty cool stuff in this. Here's the one that is defying everything, because the sun is down here. The sun is that direction. Okay, so normally we have a tail away from the sun, which looks like it might be that. I don't know. But then we have this what they're calling the anti-tail, and jets, and we're not really seeing any jets in here because the resolution is so crappy. But anyway, let's just keep going with this. Very fascinating. Okay. Anybody that drives 30 hours without stopping except the top off the tank of the gas when it hits 3/4 full, okay, all through that 30-hour trip without stopping, anybody that does that is either crazy about astrophotography or just plain crazy. Maybe a little of both. All right, so I digress there. Let's go back into here. We're going to see if we can, looks like we got some dust on the lens there, on the camera lens. You see that? Because I did not take any flats. Shame on me. Looks like we also have a satellite trail there coming through that one. And see, it's not, see the satellite trail at the bottom and the satellite trail finishing off right there. We're just going to leave that stuff in. I don't care. All right, let's do some cool stuff now. We got TIFF files. We got them saved. Let's open these up in Photoshop. And let's kind of clean this mess up a little bit. Maybe bring out some of this stuff. I apologize for this. I should have had Photoshop open beforehand. But hey. All right, let's go here to File, Open. Get in the right directory and see if we can open this stuff up. All right, let's open our TIFF files up right here. A and B both. Control, click, open. And let's just head run on in here and make this happen. All right. Let's go to the first one here. Let's just do A first. And what I always do is go image mode, and we change it back to 16 bits, and it gives us the opportunity to do some things that we might want to do here. You surely don't want to do that. Let's try equalize histogram just for the heck of it. That's pretty cool looking there, but doesn't show nearly the information we had. Let's go ahead and go to exposure and gamma, and let's stretch this just by our own manual stretching. Image, let's go to adjustments and curves and begin stretching. Let's come over here and just stretch this right out like this. Let's see what we get here. Actually, the one we saw is looking better than this, so I might end up going back to that. We surely don't want to erase these. We want to save these as a different file. See, this is really clipped over here, which is interesting because I would not have expected it to be that clipped. Yeah, that's very wacky. That's extremely wacky. So let's do this. Let's edit this out. I might just go ahead and not actually do it this way. Image adjustments. Let's go ahead and go to mode again, back to here, and let's see if equalize histogram might have some benefit for us. Let's try it first, and then let's go up here to image adjustments and levels and see what we got. Now we've got something that makes a little more sense. Let's bring this on over here and see. So we start to see that anti-tail up here, right there, which is very interesting because I think that's really what it is. So let's just this is for the sake of the comet. So I'm thinking something probably like that is what I'm going to choose, and we'll choose to get rid of some of this stuff in another way later. We really want to see this comet like crazy. So check that out. We do see some kind of message there to us. I don't think that's noise. Let's go ahead now and do this. Let's come up here and go image adjustments. Let's go to mode again. if I can make this work. Go to 16 bits and come on in here and do equalize histogram one more time here with this one. And come in and do some magic here with the image adjustments and levels again. Let's head on. I forgot what the number was. I should have remembered that number, where I was at there. But I think it was something about like that. Maybe 3.27-ish. All right, let's see what these things look like together. Now you can see that if you look on the picture, see how far the comet moved? I'm just going to keep clicking back and forth. Check that out. In 600 seconds, in 10 minutes, all right, folks, in 10 minutes time, this comet has moved. You see it moving right there. It's moving across the screen. I mean, this thing in just 10 minutes. This thing's a. It's just. Well, it's a hot rod, in a human term, going at 163,800 miles or kilometers per hour, I believe, something like that. And it comes out to be, with my scale here, it came out to be 42.5 miles per second, I think. No, it was. I have it on my Gemini screen here, but I didn't do the math for the video here. But this thing is hauling butt. All right. So again, we see a really cool looking stuff going on there. I'm going to leave that just like it is. It's a little different in each one. Okay. I'm just going to go ahead and consider this to be done. So what we're going to do now is try to eliminate a little bit of this. Let's go into image adjustments, actually filter, camera raw filter. And I, have used Photoshop quite a while now and just want to try to see if this will help us. I'm thinking it might. We're going to go to dehaze here. Do a little bit of dehazing. Oh yeah, that really helps us. See the dehazing. I'm going to go ahead and take the dehazing all the way down because I think it's still showing us our tail there. Maybe down to about 90%. Less is more in astrophotography. All right, let's go here to this one. And let's do our filter, camera raw filter. And do the same thing to this one. Let's see what we've got. Dehaze. Let's make sure I'm not goofing here. Let's go to this one, see which one. Yeah, it's looking like this one is the one that needs to have it done. Okay, so we go to filter, camera raw filter, and do the dehaze again. Go over to 90% again for this one. And actually, since this one was a little dirtier, I'm going to go all the way over for it. Let's see if I'm getting rid of that tail too much by doing that. Not really. So let's go to 100%. All right. Now, we could still do a levels and get rid of some of this stuff by going in and make it blacker. But I don't think it really matters. It's just so amazing like it is. But let's just go ahead here and do some levels. And let's take this over here to about maybe 2 or 3 or 4. Let's go up to about 20. Yeah, that gives it very, very blackened look. I don't like it so much, though. Let's go to maybe 15. Still too blackened. How about 11? How about 7? How about 3, 4, 5, 6, 7? Let's try about 5, 7 maybe. I like the way this 15 looked. I really like that, but it's starting to eliminate this tail a little bit. You see that? So we don't want to eliminate that, assuming that's what it is. So let's go with maybe an 11. I'm going to go ahead and choose 11 for this. Just an arbitrary choice here. All right. And let's go here and do the same thing with this. Image, adjustments, levels. We'll go up here and bang this up again to an 11 for it. I think that looks really, really good. Okay. Now let's see. I just really think that we got a pretty nice looking picture right there. I like the way the stars look. You know what? I think we're done. So let's go ahead and now save these. File, save as. And let's save this as, I'll call it PS. Okay. And it should be saving down here. I didn't look to see. I think it's probably saved. Let's go here now to File, and let's save as. Let's call this PS. That way we don't lose anything that we've done. Very important to have a good workflow like that. A very disciplined workflow. And what's really weird about that is, let's see what's happening here. Very strange. I'm talking about disciplined workflow, and it's like it's not working right. What is going on? Let's try it one more time here. So this is A, B, and A. Okay, File, save as, and let's go to, it's a TIFF, and let's call it PS. Yeah, and then let's save it. Here we go. Now it's working. Am I crazy, or did that just not work? It's right on the video here. It's a software glitch, I guess. Okay. Well, that's pretty fine. Let's go ahead now and go out of. Let's just leave Photoshop up. We'll head into PixInsight, and let's open this back up again. File, open. Many of you will probably be saying, why didn't you just leave this in there, because I can see it better. I mean, it's going out 10,000 miles here. Here it looks like it's only going out that far. So, I mean, there is some truth in that, and we may consider just not using these. It's all about, you know, comparisons. You can still see it there if you're looking there. You can still see that nice movement of that ray out that way. Although I will admit, we see it better in this original picture right there. Okay, and we could do some lassoing effects, but I don't want to fake it like that, where we go into Photoshop and actually lasso parts and remove certain parts and all that jazz. So I don't think I'm going to do that. I think this looks really cool. Let's go ahead now and let's see here what happens here when we combine these together. Let's see what happens. Let's go now with image. Go with process, rather, all processes, and pixel math right here. Expression editor, and let's pick out our files. They're Atlas A, PS, Atlas B, PS. APS, double click, do the equal sign. Shift and equal sign to get a plus, and then we'll go up and get Atlas B right here, which is right there, Atlas B PS. Double click. So now we got 3i Atlas A PS, 3i Atlas B PS. Okay, that's our two files. Now let's go say OK. Here is our object, and we're going to drop it right in. Let's drop it in. It doesn't really matter. Let's just go ahead and drop it in on the A one and see what happens. All right. Well, it seems like it blew everything out pretty good, although you do see the ray really nice here. So let's do this. Let's go to, see, we dropped it in on A, and probably I should learn to use this better than I do, but let's go here to 0.35%, and if I get my 0 right, you know, I am going to be ahead here. All right. There, that means that the equation is correct with our parentheses with the green. And so what we want to do, though, let's come up here and let's undo this first. Image, undo pixel math. Okay. Now we still have our 0.35. Now what this is going to do, it's going to only apply 35% of the B to this. Let's see what happens when it does that. Failed. Now why does it fail? Oh, it's because I need to have a multiplication operator there, the asterisk. Okay, so now we're okay. Now let's go ahead and drop it in. That's a little brighter, maybe a little too bright, you could argue right there. That's pretty much pretty bright there. Let's go ahead and image, undo pixel math. It actually looks better just by itself, honestly. But I hate to not try to add a little of this in. Let's see if we add this much in and see how it will do. That brightens it a little bit. I kind of like that. It's all, it's a fairly noisy signal and a noisy picture. Let's see what happens when we remove this, though. Image, undo. Yeah, it's 6 of one, half dozen of the other. I'm going to go ahead and redo it. All right, so this is my 3i Atlas picture. I hope you have enjoyed the processing. And let's take one last look at it here, if I can get these out of the way. I'll put it up on the screen as big as we can for the video. Oh, there's one more thing I was going to do also for you. I was going to do the blink operations. I think I really want to do that because it's very cool. All right, so what is going on here? It seems like that is not working the same. Okay. All right, so there is our picture. Not a bad looking picture of such an amazing interstellar traveler. That's kind of got us scratching our heads. All right, so let's go now to process and blink. This is pretty interesting, so I'm going to include this in the video. That is, if I can see all processes blink. So they're all gone now. Let's bring in the ones I want to see here, the files I want to see rather. By coming in here, and we'll go into here, and I want to have my 45-second subs, all fits files. There's all my 22s. Let's go to start with 45 right here, and we'll come down and pick all these up for us so we can see them in blink. I believe there's 103 initially. Open. Yeah, we'll load the data here in Blink, and now what we're going to be able to do, if you've not used Blink before, is we're going to be able to make a video of these just by playing them in sequence. And we can choose how long each frame is turned on to make it smoother or make it faster or slower. So this is kind of a final result here of the video showing the animation of 3i Atlas. All right, let's get this screen up. Let's make it big. And let's actually close this one down. All right. There's, of course, the 3i Atlas right there. And let's go ahead and watch it here in the video. You see the satellites coming by. So this is a live, this is actually showing my guiding as well. And you notice that the stars are wiggling kind of up and down. You see them kind of wiggling up and down like that. Oh, that puts a big smile on my face. Have clear skies, and thanks for watching. This has been Duane Melvin of Deep Light Studios, Duane Melvin's astrophotography. Thanks for watching. Clear skies.